Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about 1,000 Pound Sisters, Season 7, Episode 4.
I need you to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So Chris and Tammy take Amy to go shopping for some court clothes. And Chris tells her worst case scenario, she's facing 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
She knows, and she's not taking this lightly, she says. Chris is also going to have to take some time off work in order to drive her and Brian there in case they get locked up.
Her and Brian.
Yes.
Her man.
Yes.
Okay. What happened to Brian? Wasn't he driving a car when Amy got bit?
Yes.
So how come he can't drive them down to the court?
Because if they get locked up, who's going to leave the car? Where's the car going to go? Where the kids going to go?
That's not my problem. It belongs to the court system. See, this is the problem right here. This is where I'm going to blame Chris right here, right? I have no problem driving my sister because you're my sister, right? But your man, he got to find his own way down there. Sorry. Because guess what? They going to come get me and find me if you miss court. I don't know about Brian.
Yeah.
Brian's not my responsibility. You think Amy taking it seriously?
I think that she is, and the fact that she's stressing out. But I think that's about it as far as her brain is taking her. She just doesn't want to go to jail. I think that's as serious as it is. I don't know as serious as, should I be with this person? Am I putting myself in a good position? I don't think she's thinking about all those things. She just don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
So.
You only can do what you know what to do, in the sense of, I think this is her way of taking it seriously. I don't think she know any other way than I don't think she know any other way of how to take it serious. Maybe they need to tell her, you know what I mean? Maybe you need to leave this relationship. But in her mind, she's like, hey, I'm in here getting clothes.
Yeah.
That's me taking it seriously, right? And I'm like, you know what? You only know what you know.
So for the clothes, they need to get her something different than she would normally wear. She likes the spaghetti straps and the shorts. Tammy says she dresses like a hoe normally. So Amy asks Tammy what size she's in now, and Tammy says that she's in a large. Amy's like, I'm an extra large, but I can fit into a large too. But, she just likes her stuff oversized. And Tammy tells us that Amy's been putting on weight since the arrest. Amy doesn't know how much she weighs right now, but that's the furthest thing from her mind right now. She did end up finding a black suit to wear. I will say I saw the preview. She had on the black suit. It was not steamed or ironed, and she had a t-shirt underneath. Maybe she doesn't know you're supposed to wear some type of business casual top underneath, but I was just kind of like, she was almost there.
You're asking for a lot.
She had the bones. She had the good bones.
You're asking a lot from Amy, right? Because truth be told, I'm like, this is good enough. Steamed, ironed, dry clean. Now you're taking it to a level that she's not hip to.
You're right. I'm doing too much. You're right.
You have to tell. She got the clothes. You ain't tell her how to prepare the clothes. You ain't tell her how to wear the clothes and things of that nature. So far, I give her credit for that. Now, when it came down to them talking about what size do they wear, you could kind of see in Amy's face that she was like, "Oh wow, I'm bigger than Tammy. I'm bigger than Tammy. Yes." You are bigger than Tammy. Tammy may look bigger, but that's just a lot of skin that Tammy have on. But yeah, you're bigger than that. You're bigger than Tammy.
But the thing is, I think with Amy, it's not only they know how big they're getting and all that type of stuff individually. Okay. Tammy probably knows how big her sister's gotten since the arrest. But Amy hasn't been on track for quite a while.
About 3 seasons now.
It's been quite a while.
Actually, 6 seasons.
I mean, you could count the fact that she got pregnant was her being off track. Because she wasn't supposed to be getting pregnant at that point. So I wonder when Amy is actually going to take this seriously. And maybe you're right. Maybe she needs to sit down and have somebody walk her through what taking seriously something means. But it seems like she can't be talked to either.
You have to understand something, that no one in this family, as the doctor's going to tell us in like a couple scenes, Tammy was abnormally big.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when you have somebody that you know or in your family who is that big and you have a weight loss problem yourself, you kind of measure how bad you are based on where they're at. So to Amy, that's why she was so shocked when she was like, hold on, you're a large and I'm an extra large? Well, I buy extra large because I want it flowy. No, you buy extra large because that's your size, right? And I think Amy is not going to get back on track until she gets to the size of Tammy. Now, here's the thing about it. I don't think it's going to get that bad. right? But to her, she's probably like, I'm not that bad. Like, it's not like I'm having y'all come over to my house to clean my house, to wash me and drive me everywhere. Well, they do drive everywhere because she can't see. Yeah. But in her mind, she could always say, I'm not as bad as Tammy, so I'm good. And I'm just like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, you got to find a different measuring stick.
Yeah.
So Tammy takes her mom to get a haircut. Her family gave up on her before, including her mom, but she's happy that she's healthy enough to be able to push her mom in the wheelchair into the store. And I thought that was a pretty good victory for her as well. Because going around from people pushing Tammy and saying, I can't push her, my back hurts and all this type of stuff, to her pushing her mom around, like, who would have thought like we would see the day? Like that's amazing.
Do you remember why her mother basically was like, I'm done with you?
Because when it came to like her lifestyle and what she was choosing to do as far as her health, like her mom was just pretty much like, essentially, we're gonna have to bury you. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She didn't believe that Tammy would change her life around.
Okay.
So mom is worried about Amy going to court, but they both say that Amy has to pay whatever price she has to pay for doing the crime.
That's true.
Tammy tells her mom about Andrea and them possibly meeting, but she doesn't say that Andrea is her girlfriend. The mom doesn't mind meeting her, but Tammy isn't sure if she will introduce Andrea as her girlfriend.
I don't understand why she won't. I don't know what is Tammy doing here. I really don't get it, right? At first, she tried to tell us a couple episodes that her family is not as open to the LGBTQ community. Meanwhile, we listen to their family, and you got Amanda say, I have a gay son. And then you hear everybody in the family saying, we didn't think you marry a man. So I don't even understand what Tammy's doing here in the whole sense. Tammy, everybody know that you're probably gay. I don't really understand the whole thing of like, I'm hiding my girlfriend because I don't want them to know my sexuality, or I don't know if they're comfortable with my sexuality. Tammy, truth be told, I think what happened with Tammy is, now that she's fully healthy, now that she's a full participant in her own life, I think a lot of things that everybody already know is becoming new to her. In like some way. So when everybody was taking care of Tammy, everybody was looking at Tammy, everybody was looking at basically the patterns and the tendencies of Tammy, they probably already had ideas of Tammy. Like, Tammy's this, Tammy's that, Tammy this. Now that Tammy's a full participant in her life and learning things about herself because she's doing things for herself, I think this is only new to Tammy. Yeah. Everybody already know about you, Tammy. It's fine.
And that's the thing too. Like, I think she did say that she came out to her family as like pansexual. Yeah. And I think that's one thing to come out that way, but it's different to actually bring somebody home, especially if you're not sure what the response will be. But from what we're seeing, nobody really cares for real. But I think that Tammy, because like you said, people bring people home in their teenage years, 20s, get out the closet and try to introduce their families to people like all through their life. So for her, I mean, this is a first. So it could be scary for her.
Maybe, but
a lot of things could be scary for her. Like, she's scared to drive.
But I listened to what the family said. They said they was more surprised when she married Caleb. Yeah. So pansexual or not, they was like, we knew for a fact you wasn't going to marry no guy. Yeah. So when you came in with a married man, that was shocking to us. I think everything else after that, I think that's the bar. Everything below that, I think the family be cool with.
So Amy goes to a chiropractor. She talks about how she had a medical marijuana card, but since the arrest, she's trying to find alternatives to managing her pain.
This is her way of trying to take it seriously.
So she can quit smoking weed. And honestly, if you got the medical marijuana card, you can do it, but do it in the state you're allowed to do it, Amy. But if you want to see a chiropractor, okay. But I'm just like, just do what you're supposed to do with the card that they allotted you to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But she did multiple scans to measure tension on her nervous system. So the doctor or the chiropractor comes in and talks to her about her results. So pain has an impact on brain activity, and according to their results, her brain activity was 14%, and they wanted to be functioning at 80.
Wow.
When Amy, and she's talking to the doctor, and he's explaining that to her, and she's like, yeah, and then she said something along the lines of, and a camel bit me. And he didn't really know what she was talking about. He said, say that again? She said, camel bit me. He had never heard of that before, so I thought that was a really funny scene. Amy, the doctor's trying to show her, okay, let's do some squats, let's see like how your mobility is. She falls down doing squats. So he did some adjustments, the pain subsided, and she felt like it worked so far.
Here's the thing about it. your brain's supposed to be functioning at 80% based on what they want her brain to function at, and they say it's functioning at what, 14%?
Yeah.
They basically saying she's on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how you can explain everything. Now I wonder if this could be used in a way in her defense. Because
I don't know if I would put her on the spectrum, because I think that you can be on the spectrum but have pretty high functioning brain waves.
I was going to say below the spectrum, but I was giving her a little bail to get out of jail. I don't understand how her brain is functioning at 14%, unless there's something mentally wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think she is intentionally using her brain at 14%. I think she is thinking she's using her brain to its full capacity, and it's showing up at 14%.
Okay.
So I think there's something mentally wrong with her to where that's her functionality. I don't know how they gonna get it up to 80, because you are basically 16 below. You're like 66 below, 66% of below of what you want to get it to. So I don't really even know what brain practices or any things that like needs to happen for her to get up to 80%. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, she might need some actual testing to find out if she has any type of like developmental delays or any type of like disabilities when it comes to learning and things like that. I don't know if the way that they're brought up, it doesn't sound like their parents would even do that for them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
In the sense of getting them tools in order for them to work with the type of brain level that they're at. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, it's good to see this chiropractor, but maybe they should actually see if they need a couple of diagnoses to figure out if maybe they could be living a little bit better. So,
well, here's the thing about it. Where they live and the type of lifestyle that they have, it seems like Chris is the only one that wants to live outside of the box that they live in. Chris is the only one that want to take risk. Chris is the only one that's basically can hold a job. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are things, and those are basically cues that basically like, okay, there's a functionality that Chris has as a full adult. We can look at Tammy and say, even with her weight, obesity, and things of that nature, we can see some arrested development with Tammy and things like that. Maybe that could be mental. We could definitely look at Amy and be like, you ain't right all the way in your head. Like so that's why I'm like, for it to come back at 14%, I'm like, as surprisingly low as that was for me to watch, I was like, that makes a lot of sense to me now. Now that we actually have a number, and I'm just like, oh yeah, she's definitely not operating or functioning at her full capacity. And I'm like, I don't think she's trying to operate in a low capacity. I think this is her fullness.
Right.
So I think there's something wrong with her.
So Tammy goes to Amy's house to help her decorate for Halloween.
Okay.
The boys are dressed up as police cars, and Tammy thought that was ironic. Amy says that this is the last year that they'll be decorating in this house because she and the kids are moving to Brian's house.
You know what I mean? She operated at 10% right now.
Tammy said that she needs to put moving on hold, and there is a big possibility that you and Brian could go to jail. Brian apparently wants to go to a haunted house, so Amy invites Tammy to go. She also is going to invite Misty because we know Britney don't play that when it comes to haunted houses.
Yeah.
So Britney and Chris will not be there.
I have a question. Where is Amanda?
I don't know. Amanda walked off. We ain't seen her since.
I'm about to say, we know where you live, and now I'm like, I don't see you in the house, so obviously you're mad. So when you're mad, you're not in the house. So where can you stay there? Can you live where you are right now? And things of that nature. So that's one thing that stood out to me is while they was decorating Amy's house or Amy's old house or whatever, I was like, oh, Amanda's not there. Oh, the son's not there. Oh, wherever. So Amanda, you do have a place to go. Interesting, but okay.
So Chris takes Britney to Dr. Smith. Britney has type 2 diabetes and it is not under control. They're possibly looking at putting her on insulin.
Yeah.
So she asked him if she would be a good candidate for weight loss surgery, and Dr. Smith says yes. He says the extreme weights, like Tammy being 500 plus pounds, is an extreme case, but there are people who can benefit from weight loss surgery who need to lose 75 to 100 pounds.
Now right here, this is what I mean when I say that they looking at Tammy as the metric.
Yeah.
They basically saying like, oh man, am I qualified to get this weight loss surgery? And can I get it? Because I'm not as big as Tammy. No, but you're big. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I think Tammy, even though they helped her, I think they need like a realistic view of their health and where they are, because they like, as long as we're not Tammy, we're good. But as we about to find out, Britney, you're not living a good lifestyle. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we learned that she drinks a lot of soda, 6 sodas a day, and Chris says that's on a slow day.
That's wild.
So he's not giving her a weight goal, but he's going to give her a dietary goal to get her A1C in a healthier range. And Chris thinks it's BS because every time he came in, the doctor was telling him to drop 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And Britney gets to just try to get her sugars together. And I'm just like, well, Chris, that's what she needs to do.
I'm about to say, like,
but that was a pretty funny scene too, how Chris reacted to that.
and I'm about to say, dude, like, you want your wife with no feet? I'm about to say, now you really gonna be taking care of your family. So I like the fact that she says she wants to do it for her grandkids and things like that. She want to be around. But like Chris said, 6 on a slow day. I think whenever you go to the hospital, I'm always expecting for people to lie to the doctor. So when she said 6, I automatically said 10 in my head.
Okay.
And things like that. So when Chris said that's on a slow day, I'm like, dang, I got pushed up to 14. So it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I'm glad that she is taking the time to try to get her health in a better space. And I know that we've like focused on the family and everything, but just looking at Misty, because Misty was bigger but definitely on the smaller side when it came to the family, and she has come a very long way. And I think she said at one point like she was off her medications and living a much healthier lifestyle. So I think that Britney's pathway as far as where she needs to be compared to where some of the other family members started might be more in line with Misty. So if they could probably talk, that might be a good person for her to kind of compare notes with.
She probably don't like Misty.
No, it's possible.
Brittany come off as someone who
she probably only like Chris.
Yeah, Brittany come off as someone who don't like her in-laws at all. Like, because I think a lot of their time is served to their in-laws. And I'm not saying Misty did something personally, but Chris' time, even the fact that he have to go ask his manager, can he be off because he got to drive one of his sisters to court. And that's what I'm thinking. Every time they all ride together, Brittany got sit in the back. Like, I just think there's something to, like, I don't want to talk to Misty. Yeah. And truth be told, I don't think Misty want to talk to anybody. I wonder if part of Misty's success of staying the size that she is now, where her health is, I wonder, can I attribute that to her not being around the family as much? Misty comes off as the type of person that only comes around the family when it's time to film. And even then, we don't see her all the time. But the ones that are struggling with their weight, the ones who are, and I wonder where Misty lives too. I wonder if she lives in that community or does she live kind of like in a better place where it's not as food deserts, but we don't know. But I wonder, because I think a community and where you live contributes to your health as well. And I'm like, the fact that Amanda is backsliding, the fact that Amy been backsliding, but it's kind of hard to say Amy is backsliding because she ain't listened to the doctor when she got the surgery. So it's kind of hard, right? Tammy had to go out the city hours away to get her health together and things of that nature. So I wonder if her community and her environment contributes to her health. And I want to know where she lives.
Yeah.
Tell us where you live, Misty.
Okay. So Andrea visits Tammy's mom for the first time. They all have lunch together. And Andrea asked for a funny story about Tammy. Apparently, we learned that Tammy stood up to go to the potty like a man would on the top of the toilet. And the mom is then asking, how did they meet? Tammy tells her online dating. And I was actually surprised that Tammy revealed that, because that means like this is what it is. Yeah. So mom did figure that this was Tammy's girlfriend, and as long as Andrea makes her happy, she's fine with it. Exactly. Tammy is still, however, nervous to introduce her siblings to Andrea. I think your mom probably would have cared the most, if anything.
I actually disagree with that.
I mean, cared as far as, okay, I'll put it like this. I think that the siblings don't care whether she dates a man or a woman. Okay. I think that with the mom, I haven't seen her enough to know what her views are when it comes to the LGBTQ. Okay. So I feel like with the siblings, I don't think they care too much that you're dating a woman, but is this woman going to help you lead a healthy lifestyle? More so.
I don't think the mother cares about Tammy as much. Okay. Today, right? So I think once you burn enough bridges with people, you kind of got to rebuild that bridge. I don't know how much is that bridge is rebuilt between their relationship. I think if there's anybody who cares about Tammy the most, it's her siblings, right? So the fact that her mother basically said like, okay, cool, like as long as she makes you happy, that's cool. I think in this scene, I was like, Tammy, like this is what I mean when I say, like, I think you're the only one that's in the dark about, like, where you stand in your family. I think they seen the worst of you, and you dating a woman is not the worst of you. Trust me. Like, we seen the worst of Tammy on this show. So that's why I'm like, I really don't really get her feelings of basically like, okay, now, like, you know, my mom is cool, and even though she over here saying that my mom is a straight shooter, and you had the girlfriend saying, I'm nervous to meet your mom, and Tammy's like, just be yourself. And then now she's flipping it at the end and saying, now that you met my mom, now I'm nervous for you to meet my siblings. I'm like, Tammy, what is this thing you're trying to portray? Like, I'm not mean. Like, Tammy, we seen the worst of you. You were sitting on the floor in my van. Like, this is nothing.
Yeah. So Tammy, Amy, Misty, and Brian go to the haunted house.
Yeah.
Brian ended up proposing to her in the room of the haunted house where it was a padded cell. Amy says yes. And Tammy and Misty were talking to each other with their eyes like, what in the world is going on? Like, what the hell? This is dumb. Tammy, when they walked out, said congratulations. And Amy was trying to show them her ring. And they were just kind of like, okay. Yeah. Because the ring wasn't even okay. The ring didn't have a diamond, a ruby, or nothing on it. It was skeletons, fingers, or hands in the shape of a heart, which said Amy was perfect for her because they're both really into Halloween science stuff. I mean, not science, scary stuff. But it also made me wonder how much of it is him trying to appease Amy, because is that really his interest? Because we know that's what Amy's interested in. She's all down for the ghost and all that type of stuff. Or is he just trying to do things to get her because they're moving so quickly?
Here's the thing about it. This is why Misty don't be around the family. The one time where they was like, hey, we going to a haunted house. Misty, that's not a lot. She's like, okay, I guess I go to the haunted house. Okay, Tammy, I'll pick you up, right? And now she actually see the mess that happens with her own sisters, and she's like, this is why I don't come out. Like this is why usually it's Amanda and Chris, and I just usually just tag along eventually at some point in the season. But in this scene, I was like, this is basically just Amy just being Amy. It was almost the fact that if nothing would have happened in this scene, I would have been more surprised. So the fact that she got a proposal inside a padded room, I was like, it's fit. It fits them.
So Misty thinks she's rushing it. Amy says that she's just got too much on her plate, and Tammy says that Amy has too much on her plate and she doesn't even have herself together yet. Yeah. And she thinks that they need to slow down. She tells them that as well, that they need to slow down. Amy did tell Brian that, but Brian is laughing, talking about it didn't stop her anyway. Okay. So Amy was with Michael, I guess, for a week, and they started looking for engagement rings. She says that some people have arranged marriages, so what does it matter how long it takes for you guys to get to know each other and get married? So she's talking about having a wedding at a haunted house, and they pretty much disperse. They're all about to leave, and Amy is crying to Brian because her sisters were not happy for her proposal. She feels like she can't do anything right in her family.
You can't, but here's the thing about it. We don't expect you to do anything right. So, like, this whole idea that don't be crying because you're trying to do something right. You know you're not trying to do something right. And I guess this is an episode where everybody metric is off, right? She's measuring how slow she's taking her relationship based on what she did with Michael, right? She's like, hey, listen, even though she got married to Michael pretty quick, she's like, this is longer than what I did with Michael. But look where you and Michael ended up. And now y'all not even married or moved in. And not only did y'all went through something bad together in the sense of you getting bit by a camel, but y'all got arrested together. Like that. Like now y'all both about to go to jail together. So I don't think nobody in this episode have a good metric on slowing things down, making sure they cross their T's and dot their I's. But if that was your sister, Blair, how would you react knowing that, like, hey, she need to slow down? Would you just be happy for your sister?
I wouldn't be happy for her. I would pull her to the side and ask her, like, are you sure? Like, this is what you're currently going through. Where is your head at right now? And if she says this is what I want to do, you're a grown lady. I can't stop you. But I'm going to tell you that I don't think this is wise. I don't think you should be doing this. Yeah. But if you want to, that's your life. I mean, I can't stop you.
Yeah. I probably would have. Here's the thing. You would know that I'm not a fan of your decisions because I would not be part of any of them. I'm not the one picking you up from the airport. I'm not the one picking you up from court. I'm not going with you to this haunted house with this guy. I'm not going to be around you with this guy, right? Because my job as a sibling is to try to protect my 14% functioning brain sister, right? And I'm not going to ask questions are you sure? Because I know her brain is functioning at a 14% capacity, right? So, like, I'm not even going to put that much weight on you. I'm just going to be like, if you marry this guy, right, you can count me out of whatever you got to do. I'm not taking you to court, picking you up from court. I'm not watching kids. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Because once you actually marry into, like, his family, like, he's your you are now his responsibility. So, like, that's how I would just present it to her in that nature. And however she take it. But Amy's gonna cry nevertheless.
Yeah, and that's all we got. What is your thoughts on the next episode, to where Chris is giving basically both of them a talking to, the fiancés in the car? Yeah, I mean, the only thing I really had to think about that is Chris is a saint. That the fact that he's even driving these people here, even taking the time to have this conversation with them, because these are both grown people and they should know better at this point. But he's still going to be the voice of reason and try to get them to wake up, so to speak. So I'm like, so I guess, Chris is the better one out of everybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had him in my car. I would have been like, you got to find your way to court. Well, if I go to jail, if you go to jail, people who got to go to court and they potentially go to jail, they still find their way to court. So you got to find your way to court. I'm going to pick up my sister and things of that nature. So it is what it is. Let us know what y'all thought about this episode. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.